That is not what you want to see. All right, guys, so before we get started, I wanted to say hey to my dad. This is my dad. Howdy. He's, I just got done eating Burger King there. Burger King, if you want to give me a sponsorship, anytime, buy me a boat or something, whatever. But, Dad, as you guys know, I figured before we get started into the fishing portion of it, I'd let you know, Dad's been letting us live here. Him and Mom's been letting me and the wife stay here while they get the house. And we've run into some complications with the house. Nothing major, just Mother Nature. By the way, if you need the best truck driver in the world, my dad is looking for a truck driving job. And he drove truck for how long, Dad?
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years. He took, 10 years off. He worked in some gas well business, diesel mechanic type stuff. He's wanting to get back into driving, but he's having a hard time because they say he don't have enough experience. I guess recent experience or whatever, but 25 years, just because he took 10 years off, I don't think he forgot how to drive a tractor and trailer. I'm pretty sure of it. So anyway, if you need a truck driver, give him a holler. Thanks, Dad. I'm going to go out here and show you the mess that we've got. So just to give you an update on the house, the day after we got the approval to start pouring concrete, it's rained. It's pretty much rained ever since then. So we're kind of at a standstill. And some of this is going to have to be redug. So we'll see what happens. All right, enough of that. Let's go talk about fishing. Man, again, I want to say thanks to Mom and Dad. Thanks to Dad for letting me use his carport for my boat. I'm just going to tell you, just being able to put my boat under here makes me so excited to hopefully be able to get one of my own once we get the house done. Eventually I do hope to buy a new boat or a new to me boat. This boat right here, it's great. It's been a great boat. The motor's been great. But it's time, if I keep this boat, to start thinking about some serious upgrades. And I may go that route too. I'm getting older. Anyway, I didn't want this to be about the boat. And I'm getting older, so a little wider boat won't hurt the old fat man here. So, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so guys, again, forgive the traffic, especially right now, because I know with the rain, it's going to be even louder. But I really want to talk to you about this sort of two bait system that I've got worked out for fall bass, and it really may catch you the biggest bass of the year or even the biggest bass of your life. Now, the two baits that I really use mostly, and you can use any multi-joint, you can use any single joint. So it's the difference between a multi-joint and a glide. A single joint really is a glide bait. And the two I use 90% of the time. Now, Smash Tech makes a great one. There's all different kinds of good glide baits out there. But I use them at different times in different ways. For this, I don't really use the giant swim baits. Most of the time, it's the 6-inch or less. So the 168s and the S wavers. Now, this is, I think they deem this their 7 or 8 inch. I don't really remember. That's the bigger S waver. But that's about as big as I will go when it comes to baits this time of year. Now, if you want to target specifically like the big fish, definitely. And not so much with the multi-joint baits, but the glides absolutely going up to those bigger ones. And I'll explain to you why and how you want to do that. Now, rods and reels, guys, I keep it very, very simple. This is basically my jig and spinnerbait rod, so a medium heavy fast action. And this is, I think this is one of my new, this is actually an LFS And this is also an LFS. This is actually my flipping rod. So that's my meat stick by Dixie Custom Rods. And as always, guys, just make sure you protect your investment with those TRC covers. There's not a better cover on the market, I can promise you that. But the point I'm trying to make is you don't need specialized equipment to throw these baits. We're pushing the envelope with this one, but for the most part, I'm going to start out with the 168. Now, let me tell you about when I'm fishing these. So early fall, early to mid fall, when you really start seeing those bass chase, you'll see a topwater, and it's a great topwater bite too. You know, make sure you've got your topwater baits tied on, but something that you want to do is pick up something like this. This 6-inch bull shad. This is a fast sink. You can go slow depending on the water depth that you're in if you're throwing it up on top of a point. But when they start pushing those shad up and you start seeing those shad, especially if the bass themselves aren't boiling, but you really start to see those shad flickering, jumping out of the water, and you know there's fish in the area chasing them, this is a great way to catch a toad, because everybody's coming around throwing those topwater baits because you know I'm going to do it. I love to catch them on topwater, but those bigger bass can sometimes just sit down there lurking, waiting for those bigger shad, which are going to be at the bottom of that school most of the time, to come along, and they're going to eat a steak and not a little Vienna sausage. You know, it's all about the amount of protein for the amount of energy. So it's, you know, the amount of energy they have to exert for the amount of energy they're going to get out of the meal, and they will take advantage of a bigger bait. So a lot of times when they're busting, yeah, I'll get out there and throw that topwater and really have a good time throwing that topwater. But if I really want to catch the biggest one that's lurking around there, this is what I'm going to throw. I'm going to sink it down, and what I'm going to do on retrieve is I'm going to work it pretty fast. I want that nice tight S action, but I'm going to be twitching it as I'm working it a couple times. I'm even going to twitch and stop, twitch to get started, and start reeling again and twitching. You want to impart this as the most erratic action as you can when you're throwing these. Around smallmouth, these things, and like I said, the Ketchco versions are very deadly around smallmouth. So you want to keep these baits moving. If they're chasing these shad, guys, they're going to be extremely, extremely active. So you want to bring this through those schools as fast as you can so that they make a gut reaction to the bait. They see it coming by, they reach up and grab it. They don't have time to think about it. That's why I don't throw a glide bait in those situations. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm saying this is a reaction bait. This is an action bait, okay? The difference is they're going to react to this without thinking. This, they're going to follow and then react when they decide they just can't stand it anymore. That kind of gives away the cards of where I'm going to start throwing my S-wavers. Now, if I go up in a pocket and I see a ton of shad, right? Nothing's busting, nothing's surfacing. I feel like there might be some big fish up there, especially midway through the fall. Once it starts to get into those colder temps, this is where I'm going. But I'm going to throw it in very different places than I throw the multi-joint. I'm going to throw it around docks, around laydowns in brush. I'm going to work that bait nice and slow to get that nice wide action and call those bass that are hanging in that wood. And let's remember, in the fall, wood stays warm. When it's sticking out of the water, it's getting a lot of sun, it's dark. So it's going to absorb more sunlight and stay warmer. Rock walls, another great place. You know, really work this bait around that stuff And a lot of times I'm going to start with that 168. It's going to get me more bites. Maybe not the biggest bite, but that bait is still going to catch you a ton of big fish. If you're around smallmouth, that's the size you want to go to, that 168. And that's really the difference. It's that simple. I'm going to use these in more open water chasing, really active, really frantic bass. Even if you see them early fall, if they're in some wood and you just see bass coming up, throw that over there, around the docks, around the wood. But I mean, you're going to truck it, okay? You're going to really whine and rip, all right? It's a reaction bait. This, it's an action bait. It's got a great wide action. You're going to move it around stuff. And a lot of times right before I come off, maybe the last pole before I go into open water on a dock, I'm going to twitch it to get it to turn toward that pole. I'm going to pause it for just a minute. And then I'm going to start reeling it right back again, okay? Out in that open water, sometimes that pause, very slight pause. Same with this, very slight pause. Don't give them long to look at it. Pause, get it going again. Same with this, twitch, 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 reel, twitch, twitch, reel, twitch, pause, twitch, 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 and you're reeling again, okay? Guys, it really is that simple. 15-pound test to 20-pound test on these. If you've not thrown them, you know, the bigger versions probably want to go with mono. This, I mean, you can throw this on 10 or 12-pound test, but don't be surprised if you get your arm jerked off on this little bait, especially around schoolers and especially around smallmouth. It will blow your mind how well this will get down there. Now remember, what's great about this size, you can wake it. You can even wake that if you reel it fast enough. But what you really want to do is let it get down there. So a slow to fast sink bait is what you want. Let it get down just a little bit deeper. That 5, 10, 15 foot mark, if you can get that bait down there in that 10 foot area, that's where you want to try and keep it. Keep the action going, keep the action fast on those baits. Really work the cover over with these. Guys, that's my simple swim bait system, hard swim bait system for the fall. Try it out. I think you're going to catch some of the biggest fish of the season by doing those two things. All right, as always, questions, comments in the comment section below. Make sure, as always, I say it all the time, make sure you leave me some comments down there, some questions. Hey, just say hey. You know I love to talk about fishing with you guys. If you guys have done this and had success, let us know. Tell us what you've done to have success on the hard swim baits during the fall so we can all learn. And as always, like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you guys ring that bell so you get these notifications when these videos come out so that you can keep up with the house, so that I can show you a few things about fishing. Hopefully I'm going to get to do some fishing. The house is killing me. But all that being said, more so than anything, you guys rock.